Welcome back, everyone, to the Tower Project. You ever have those games where you try an absolutely ridiculous strategy and it just somehow works? Well, that is what we have here in this one versus one battle between Carolus Rex, Carolus the Bruce, or Charles the First, he goes by several names, and the iconic Arm Waffles. There are a couple spectators in the battle off in the field, but this is a one versus one battle, and like I said, sometimes you just have those games where you try that ridiculous strategy and it pays off, and that is exactly what is going on here with Scotland. So he's got this super wide formation of Highland Noble archers, some pikes sitting behind, this huge sideline of Highlanders, and then a backline of Border Horse. That's right, he is bringing Border Horse to a field battle. You know you've got cav skill when you bring Border Horse to a field battle and you don't get completely destroyed. Now, it does have one General's Bodyguard and 2 Knights Hospitaller. But the rest of his cavalry is all Border Horse. And he is going up against Venice, which is, one of the titans of field battles. And so, Waffles is trying to counter this envelopment by shooting the gap, which is exactly what he should do. He should try to split the gap and pop up right here in this circle to face Scotland on the flank and counter his envelopment. But at this point, it's gone from just being a flank envelopment to a complete circumference of Scottish cavalry. And there's not really anything to be done about that. And this is one of the flaws in the modern field meta of keeping your cavalry so close to your infantry. In my day, when I was really learning this game probably 4 or 5 years ago, and that was, I've been playing this game for 11 years, but the strategy for the majority of the game was to keep your cavalry on your flanks. And the reason you did that was to prevent your army from being encompassed, like what has happened here. But then the meta changed where people started putting their cavalry grouped right in with their infantry in the center so they could get charges onto the infantry. But this is one of the downsides of that strategy, and why I generally don't use that strategy of putting the cavalry in the center, and generally I keep my cavalry on the flank, is because it opens you up to being completely encompassed like this. And as you can see, Venice is legitimately being hit from every side here. There's cavalry coming in all over the place, and these noble swordsmen fighting some Venetians there, and Highlanders actually kind of wrecking some of these Venetian heavy infantry. In the right situation, Highlanders can generate tremendous value. They'll probably be one of the units I make unit spotlight videos on, because, Scottish General goes down, and you're going to see here very shortly that there's going to be an exchange of generals. So here's the Venetian general, right as I spotted him there, and he runs himself into a bunch of pikes. So he'd done a charge here onto this pike unit and then ran over and got stabbed in the face by that pike unit. So they kind of, if you play a chess game, you can kind of exchange queens a lot, where one person takes your queen and then you take the other person's queen the next turn. That's kind of what happened here. One person sacrificed their general, and then the other guy got their general. So there was an exchange of generals there. Highlanders charging in and hacking down these Knights Hospitaller. The Knights of St. John are getting axed in the face by the Highlanders. They do not need any of that Order of St. John. As everyone knows, St. Andrew is the patron saint of Scotland. That's why all their units say for St. Andrew when you listen into them. And a mass rout of Venice taking place here, and a beautiful side charge coming in from the Knights Hospitaller with the steel chair, just finishing off that mass rout. Some Stratiates coming in to try to contain it. There's a little bit of fighting going on the flanks.
We have lost half our men.
But the Venetians are so spread out everywhere, there's really nothing to be done. Even though you can see they did inflict some good casualties on Scotland, especially the Border Horse, just being surrounded like that has such a big effect on morale. It's nearly impossible to overcome that, because units can just break so quickly when they're being flanked, when they're being hit and attacked in the rear. It makes it very difficult to generate good value engagements when you are being surrounded. So this battle is one of those reasons why I would advocate not to use the current meta strategy in field battles. And I am by no means anywhere near the best in field battles. Field battles are really not my forte, but I do think I can play in them fairly successfully. But I would advocate that you don't use that intermixing of your cavalry together. And there, Wafflez admits defeat. I would argue that you don't use the intermixing of cavalry into your infantry strategy, and that you keep them on the flank. At least some cavalry should go on the flank to protect you from being surrounded. That's just my 2 cents, though. You play however you feel like is best. But the circumference did work out for Scotland here. So props to Carolus for getting that surround going on Venice. And Wafflez did exactly what he should have done, even if it came maybe a little bit too late. But he should have shot through the gap there of Scotland, just like he was trying to do. But then it kind of backfired, and he got surrounded there. And even if you're the best player in the universe, there's not a whole lot you can do in this game when you're surrounded. So great game to all those players. I know this was a real quick one, but I thought it was worth showing for the strategic value. As we watch the Border Horse do what Border Horse do. Cutting units down. And a lot of these Highlanders survived. the tide of Highlanders chasing him down. So we'll just fast forward to the end of the battle here. Well, basically we're waiting for the spectators to get off the field. And there we go. So you can see Wafflez actually killed, technically, more people than Carolus because he captured so many. But let's look at some of the stats here. Let's look at what those Highlanders did. Noble Highland archers, did they get a lot of value? Not really. They all pretty much took more casualties than they gave out. And definitely the same thing with the Highlanders there. So even though a lot of Carolus's units didn't get the best value trades, they captured so many people because of the routing. That's what turned the battle. I mean, you can see just the huge numbers of prisoners caught here, and that's the power of flanking. It's a lot easier to capture the enemy than kill them. So hope you guys enjoyed this very short battle here. Maybe think about what works best for you with those cavalry tactics, and as far as getting flanked and countering flanks. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time on the Tower Project.